Sulem Urbina will be joining us any second now. Champion, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Welcome to the Slip Punches show. It's really nice to see you.
No, likewise. I'm excited to be talking boxing.
Hey, make no mistake about it. You're a true fan of boxing. We see you all over social media. Big shout out to you for that.
No, thank you. I mean, I just believe that if this is what you do, you should be well aware of what's going on and all the champions all around and everybody up and coming because at the end of the day, somebody's going to be coming to take your spot.
Well, definitely, champ. I want to definitely dive right in and very important talk about your story because you have an amazing story. But let's just start off with back in February, your last win was a unanimous decision, and knowing your whole career, 12 fights, you fought in Mexico, and
Mhm.
now having the opportunity to fight in the United States of America in California at Fantasy Springs under the Golden Boy banner with Zanfer. How was that just whole experience fighting in the US? That must have been really great.
I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to finally come to the U.S. Like you mentioned, all my fights were in Mexico. I was with Sanford Promotions. Now I'm not anymore, and since then I've been working with Golden Boy, and I'm just grateful because my mother had never seen me fight as a pro because she can't cross the border to see me fight in Mexico. So this was the first time that she was actually able to see me fight here in the United States. And I fought in Indio, California. So a lot of my friends were able to attend. And that was just a great experience for me. I loved it.
That must have been beautiful. And let's just dig right in there because you have such a really intriguing story. People, they see you fight in the ring and they don't have an idea that we're human beings, that we have lives, that we have, a story. So, tell the fans about your story. It was so interesting. Born and raised in Mexico, and then coming to Phoenix, to the United States with your family. That it was very difficult times, and you went through so much. So tell a little about how you started boxing and how that transpired in the love of your family.
Well, I was born in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico, and my parents brought me when I was just 5 years old. So I still actually remember when I crossed the border undocumented, illegally, if you want to say. My parents just wanted to give us a better future. And it was tough. I mean, we lived in a tiny little apartment. We didn't have rooms. It was just one big room with a little kitchen and a restroom, a studio type thing. My two older brothers, myself, and my mom and my dad. And so it was tough, but we were starting to, make things work. My father found a job and, just providing for us and taking care of us. And then a few years later, I became a big sister. My first brother was born here in the U.S., Alexis Urbina. And when I was about 11 years old, my older brother started attending a local boxing club.
Mhm.
And so I tagged along. I begged them to take me, and I fell in love with boxing. Unfortunately, it was short lived because my mother's a very traditional Mexican woman, and she says you should be at home helping your mother with the chores. So I didn't get to box that much. I boxed for about a year and had 4 fights and really didn't know much. I just knew that I liked it and I enjoyed it. Um, and when I was 17, I started driving and I went back to boxing and living here in the United States undocumented. My father was deported. My older brothers were deported, so it was very tough, and I couldn't do much with boxing because I wasn't born here. So I decided to leave to Mexico, and I became national champion in Mexico. Through that time, my younger brother Alexis was also a boxer. He started boxing when I was about 18 years old, 19, and he he became my best friend once he started taking boxing seriously. At first we had those little sibling rivalries, but
Sure.
after that we became inseparable. um we started boxing together, and the dream was made that we would we would try and make it to the 2016 Olympics in Rio. First brother and sister duo to make it. Him for Team USA, myself for Team Mexico. He wins the national championships in 2013 here in the U.S. and that's in March. And in September of 2013, he's brutally murdered. So it was short lived. The dream was gone, and he was only 17 years old. He had a bright future ahead of him. Two men decided to break into my parents' home and burglarize the home, and he was there and took his life. Um, I can't say exactly what I felt. I just know that it's been long overdue, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and a lot of missing him. And I'm barely starting to learn how to enjoy life a little bit after 7 years of him being gone. Um, but I still kept going. I kept boxing, and I became national champion again that same year, 2 months after he passed away. And I competed international for Team Mexico all the way from 2013 to 2016. I was number one in the nation. And then I failed at qualifying to the Olympics, but I did medal in a lot of other tournaments, Central American games. I went to the Pan Am's qualifiers and I qualified. A lot of international experience, and unfortunately, the Olympics just didn't happen for me. So I decided to turn pro, and here I am now, 12-0.
And champion, are definitely, with many years of sincere condolences we have for your family and for you and what you passed through. And it's so amazing. It's so amazing to watch you now, how you continue to drive. There's such a fire in you as a fighter that we seen it live on TV. We seen it in the ring. We see it in your eyes when the bell rings. Your last fight was against Naomi Baque in California, and just watching you perform and do what you do at the professional level. Touch on that, because you're kind of right where you need to be. Is that correct with that statement?
I think I'm never satisfied with myself. I'm never fully. I think that's why I'm at this level now, because I'm never content with what I do. I wish by now I would be a world champion, but things happen for a reason, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm accepting it. I'm just grateful that I'm here today and I'm able to keep on going with my career. I want more. I want more. I want to be a world champion. And whatever happens, I want to know that I did anything that I could have.
Well, definitely, we know for sure in boxing, and just eyeing your career in the course it's going, the best is certainly yet to come. I mean, opportunities are right in front of you. Now, the one thing I also want to touch on, which was really, really cool. The other day you posted on social media, and I guess you had a professional photographer do some shoots of you, and
Mhm.
you did a beautiful framed mural that you were autographing the murals. You were autographing each and every piece. Do you have one of those pieces with you? Can you just put it up in the camera?
I don't have it with me right now.
Oh,
I
okay.
should.
But it
But
was very, very beautiful piece. Talk on that, because that was very nice to see.
it's I met Willie Romero last year. He's a great photographer, and it was something that happened just from one day to the next. I knew that he was gonna be in town. Nancy from Supreme Boxing actually messaged me and told me that her friend was gonna be in town, and I messaged him, to let him know if he wanted to do anything or if he wanted to go out to eat or whatever. And we ended up setting up a photo shoot, and it was like a 30-minute photo shoot with the sunset, Arizona sunset here at South Mountain. And it came out beautiful, beautiful, amazing shots. And I'm, I'm glad that because of boxing, I get to meet such amazing friends like Willie Romero. And actually, right now, those images are on his page, and they are up for sale.
That's great, man. That's great. Definitely. Boxing fans, you hear that? Willie Romero, photography. You got to check out those images. They're really great shots of you, champ. And you mentioned, and I want to give a big shout out, of course, to Nancy Rodriguez, because the WBC. Let me tell you, they got their eyes on you. See, look, they got their eyes on you, man. Yes, ma'am. There's no question about it. How you know? Before I ask you to give a shout out to your fans, how can everybody that's listening in follow you in your social media, your Instagram accounts, your Twitters?
Well, I keep my social media pretty simple. I don't have a nickname for a reason because I love my name. So
We will do.
everything, thank you. So my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they're all at Sulem Urbina.
Great champion. Kindly give a shout out to all your fans, because again, you're doing what you need to do. Boxing right now at this time, it's a tough time, but give a shout out to all your fans.
Well, I want to thank everybody that supports me. It's very tough and very hard to win a crowd as a female boxer, a fan base. And I appreciate every single one of you that, believes in me, believes in women in the ring, believes that we can do anything that we desire. And I appreciate you all very much. And let's keep on going. Hopefully, we get those championships.
This is definitely an intriguing time that the country's going through and what have you, and it's great that shows like these happen because we get to hear the stories. We get to hear the fighters' stories behind, the ropes, after your fights and what have you, and things that you're doing in your life, and it's so great for the fans. It's so educating and so important. Talk about your team and everything that gels behind it, because I definitely don't want to leave that out. That has a lot to do with your success right now, with you as a professional fighter.
You know, um, my team is, I keep my team very, very small. And I know quantity, it's quality, not quantity. My
Yes,
husband, he's the best coach in the world. I've been training with him
awesome.
for 14 years now. He's been my coach for 14 years. And thanks to him, I've gotten to where I am today. He paid attention to me when nobody else ever did. He's been there since day one. And it's been long days in the gym and nights and mornings training, but it's been all worth it. I also have a physical therapist named Dr. Destiny Chirino. She helps me a lot. She's helping with some recovery things that I'm going through right now and working on to, just feel better all the way around for my body. And I mean, a small team, but it makes the dream work. And also, I have another coach named Conrad Chavez. He's learning and he's coming up, but he's listening and, he's helping me out.
Well, again, we really appreciate your time coming in on the Slip Punches show, and we definitely hope to have you back on the show. It's so important again for all the fighters and what have you. Now that you see that Golden Boy has made an announcement through the zone that they're back. Woof, what a relief, huh? I'm sure you're preparing, getting ready. What are your thoughts if again you have to fight behind closed doors in a bubble situation? Have you given that any thought?
Um, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me one bit. Yeah, it's great having fans there, but it's also, you forget it's our job.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you have to have that heart and that mentality to motivate yourself, not rely on anybody else. I get it that certain fighters need the motivation from the fan base, but at the end of the day, you should have that motivation within you regardless. For me, I'm all for it. It's my job, it's what I do, it's what I'm dedicated for, and I'm not getting any younger. So of course I'd love to fight and close doors. It doesn't matter.
That's awesome. Well, champion, on behalf of Latinbox Sports, we appreciate you coming on the show. Keep on punching, keep on doing everything you're doing. We're going to continue to follow you and support you throughout your journey, and you will be a champion soon.
Thank you, thank you. I just pray God keeps me healthy, and the rest I'll work for it, and I'll become champion.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the Slip Punches show. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back in a couple of hours with Nicole Ocasio, amateur standout. This is Latinbox Sports Damon Gonzalez tuning out. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.